Life from the Loam and puts in 2 Fire Ice. The sideboard, however, quite different.
Well, we're going to be getting right down to games here. So Andrew Shrout is on the left of your screen. He's playing Blue-Red Delver. Samuel, I already forgot how to pronounce this, Kuprewicz is on the right of your screen playing Kuprewicz, sorry. So for those of you who are just joining us, you are watching the StarCityGames.com Open Series here in St. Louis. This is Legacy. We are in the top 8. I'm Brian Kibler here with Adrian Sullivan, and we are about to get going. So we do not know who has won the die roll here, but the players are getting ready, shuffling up. Andrew Shrout right there. He's playing a very, very cool deck that we saw earlier today. You were saying that you'd call it more blue-red burn than anything else.
Absolutely. It looks to me to be very much like a burn deck. I mean, the difference between this and, like, say, just blue-red, like, Delver, if you look at his attempt to what he's doing here, Goblin Glide, Grim Lavamancer, Fire Blast, Chain Lightning, Lightning Bolt, Price of Progress. To me, that sounds like most of the core of most of the burn decks in Legacy right now. And what he puts in that is some filler in Ponder Brainstorm, another burn spell in the form of Snapcaster Mage, and then the touch of counter spells.
Yeah.
Maybe even counter burn might be a reasonable thing to call this.
Yeah, it is. I mean, a lot of times when people think of counter burn, they think more of like the Hammer of Bogard and Shard Phoenix decks. At least,
yeah,
that's what I do. Maybe I'm dating myself here, but that's typically what I think of when I think counter burn. This is a much more aggressive style of deck, and I think that Delver of Secrets has really shown that you can play a very, very creature-light yet aggressive deck, and that's what this really is.
One of the things I'd like to mention about Andrew Shrout, this is the first time I've met Andrew Shrout in person this weekend, but I first actually met him on Modo. He absolutely crushed me with a Green Elves deck with Vengevines quite a while back, and we'd actually, after that, started just sharing tech back and forth, and he took my mono red Demigod deck in Extended to a couple of good finishes in various different places. I think he got 3rd, 4th in one PTQ and top 8 of another PTQ. He's a really good guy. He's a fun player, and he's excited here to be under the, we'll call it the tent rather than the lights.
So Sam is on the play here. It looks like he's mulliganing. So the players both sort of good-naturedly talking here. Both definitely happy to be here. Callie Anderson was actually telling me when we were doing coverage of Andrew's match that she played him in, I believe, the semifinals of the Open that she won several years ago in Nashville. So he is no stranger to the top 8 here at Star City.
I think he is a Tennessee player, but I'm not 100% sure of that. I see that in the records, he top 4'd in Nashville with that time he was playing my red deck. One of the things Andrew does like to do, all the decks I've seen him play for the most part have tended to be very, very aggressive decks. One of the things that I like about that is if you play a similar kind of strategic archetype again and again, one of the things that starts happening is it becomes almost second nature, the decisions you make, so that you still have to make sure you don't just go into autopilot because you can make mistakes that way. But you can shortcut based on your experiences with numerous decks.
Absolutely. I mean, being able to assemble 20, the people who are much more experienced in playing aggressive decks, and particularly playing aggressive decks with burn spells, are better able to figure out when's the time do I aim damage at my opponent's creatures, do I aim damage at my opponent's face. Those are the sort of things that are very complicated decisions. We've been talking about all weekend that lots of people sort of give aggressive decks flack as far as being easy to play and whatnot. Every type of deck in Magic can be difficult to play when you're faced with the right kind of decisions.
I think the thing that makes the example of the aggressive deck with burn understandable as a hard decision deck is when you get to the point where you start having to throw away cards for the hope of killing someone, but that killing them is not on the horizon yet.
So Sam is still shuffling here. Is he actually mulliganing again?
I think he is mulliganing a
He's
second time.
going to 5 cards. This is
really good news for Andrew Shrout.
Yeah, this is not what Sam wants to see. As I was saying before, I feel like Andrew is favored in this matchup, and I certainly think he's favored now.
Yeah, I would definitely tend to agree with that. But yeah, when you get to that position when you're playing a deck that has that aggressive burn element, if you're in a position where you're suddenly throwing away cards for damage, but with the cards that you can see, you can tell that it's not enough damage to kill them if everything goes your way, that's actually an interesting decision point.
Absolutely. Yeah, we were told from our spotter on the floor that Sam has yet to draw a hand that contains a single island.
Okay, looking at his mana base, he runs 13 islands, and I always like to kind of look to Bertoncini's island count, because I always felt like Bertoncini just barely managed to have enough islands when he played.
Okay.
So I'm going to do a quick check on that.
Yeah, I'm not really familiar with that just off the top of my head. But
Yeah, I couldn't tell you how many islands Alex has ran in the past off the top of my head either. Hence the internets. We see an opening of Aether Vial off of a Mutavault from Sam.
That's
and
a fine
Andrew
start.
Shrout starts with a looks like a Scalding Tarn, and he's going to go fetch something. I'm guessing it'll be a basic land.
maybe basic island into Delver. He could just get a Volcanic. His opponent is on 5 cards if he has any other land in his hand.
Well, one of the things to look at, though, too, is that his opponent, he knows what his opponent is playing. They've been able to see
They
each
do
other's
know
deck
each other's
lists.
decks. He does know that Sam has 4 copies of Wasteland in his deck.
Yeah, and the other part of it, too, is that he wants the Price of Progress to actually do more damage to his opponent than it does to him. And Merfolk is capable of putting together a lot of damage all at once.
So
And what do
Sam
we have?
untaps, puts a counter on his Vial.
We've got the Delver of Secrets from Andrew Shrout.
So Delver for Andrew. Sam does not. Oh, he does have a land. So it is a Wasteland, and he attacks for 2 with Mutavault. Not exactly what you want to be doing with your mana at this point in the game.
It's a really underwhelming way to play. Does Andrew reveal anything
Oh,
here?
he picks up his card.
Nothing
He
to
nearly puts it in
reveal?
his hand, but nothing to see here, folks. No secrets. So Andrew plays Grim Lavamancer.
Now that's the master card of the matchup.
Yeah, Grim Lavamancer is a card that we were talking about before that is really the, I think, the defining card of what's going to be happening in this matchup. I think that Grim Lavamancer is poised to take out all of Sam's creatures.
I mean, all that he has to do is fuel the Lavamancer with a graveyard.
And he has a deck that is very well set up to do that. Not only does he have burn spells, which should naturally put cards in his yard and kill his opponent's creatures, but he has both Ponder and Brainstorm, which are going to put those cards in his yard as he already has 2 cards in his yard. He hasn't even actually cast a spell that impacts the board.
After a lot of loud noise and complaining, my computer finally told me that Alex ran 13 islands. So I will claim that this is sufficient islands for Sam. But these decks always push their island count. Look at that. There's now 3 non-basics in play versus the Price of Progress deck.
Yeah, that's actually kind of funny that he's in risk of taking a bunch of damage from Price in his monocolor deck. So Fire Blast flips Delver. That's a scary one.
Fire Blast is one of my favorite cards. I am still surprised that Zoo decks don't play it more in Legacy these days.
A lot of them tend to play like 2.
I've seen some of them play 2, but I've seen more of them play 0.
I think one reason that Zoo decks tend to avoid having a bunch of Fire Blasts is a lot of them want to play with Gaddock Teeg.
I agree. I think also a lot of them want to play chicken. Bark, bark.
Okay.
Delver is now a full-fledged Jeff Goldblum fly. The Brundle fly comes on in for 3. We tick up the Aether Vial to 3 counters. Cursed Catcher goes on in.
Curse Catcher not terribly scary.
No blocks from Andrew. Andrew looks like an EOT. He's going to crack his Misty Rainforest. The life totals, Andrew's life total is actually very low.
Yeah, he's been taking some beats from that Mutavault and that Curse Catcher. I mean, he does now have an active Lavamancer, and the Merfolk deck doesn't really have much in the way of reach. He does have that Vial on 3, which represents a Reejerey possibly coming down, which can make using the Lavamancer to kill a Mutavault or another Merfolk a bit dicey if he doesn't have a way to actually kill the Reejerey that could come down.
Right. In comes our friend and yours, the Insectile Aberration. He actually gets to draw. He doesn't have to skip his draw phase.
He gets a card too. His opponent may have started a couple down, but he still gets to get some.
In comes the insect. We have a draw. No activation of the Aether Vial.
Ooh, so
Wow.
Sam's hand must be pretty bad.
Maybe it's all Force of Wills.
That could explain what's going
Maybe
on
all
here.
dazes without islands in play and Force of Wills.
Could be. Spell pierces.
Yep. I think at this point, I mean, Samuel has the list for Andrew Shrout.
All right, so he's
Wasteland. Do you want to cast your Fire Blast, sir? Red and pool.
He's going to the face. Ooh.
Straight off.
Oh, he's going to the Curse Catcher. Okay. Interesting. He does have a bunch of cards in hand and another red mana, so he may just be looking to protect his life total there. And is this going to be a Lightning Bolt? And
Lightning Bolt, a late edition. Is that 11th edition Lightning Bolt?
looks like it.
Not
Or
my favorite.
M11.
Good point. Good point.
So one thing that's worth noting that despite the fact that Sam has the Aether Vial and 3 counters, and Kira Great Glass Spinner does cost 3, Kira doesn't work that way. You can't sneak in a Kira to counter something because Kira
won't be there to
off
trigger.
Kira triggers off the creature being targeted by the spell.
Ooh. First island.
Oh, that's pretty lucky having an island.
You know, sometimes I splash colors into a deck. I like to sometimes splash 13 of that color.
Yeah.
But in this case, the main color will just have 13 of it.
All right, so Sam's in a very rough spot here. He doesn't have any sort of board presence. His opponent has a fistful of cards. Ooh, Snapcaster.
Snap.
Is Snapcaster... Isn't that whole yard gone?
No, I don't think so. I think
No, the
he
bolt.
puts it off
Okay, yeah,
farther to the side.
I hadn't seen the. Where
He
the card
hides
was
his
going.
graveyard,
Off camera.
or his exiled area off
So,
camera.
Bolt to Sam's face, and now
In for 3. Leaves the Snapcaster back as a
staying
defender.
back. Interesting. I think I'm going to be bolting the face. I may be attacking with Snapcaster there, but I can see that he's trying to figure out if there's. Oh, is Kira coming in?
Is it? Oh,
No, that's Reedry.
Reedry.
Reedry. Okay, that was end of turn Reedry. So Sam is at 5 life. So yeah, that Reedry could have allowed his Mutavault to ambush Snapcaster for free.
Here we now have a 3/3 Mutavault. In they come.
And Andrew can
Chump block.
he can either chump block or just take this damage.
Oh yeah, he's way high in life. He
We were talking about how
that's-
low he was.
Yeah. How high compared to the amount of time he
Sure.
needs left. He shoots Sam. Sam goes down to 3 life.
So Sam needs a Great Glass Spinner just to chump here. That gets
Oh.
whoa.
There you go.
Daze. Okay, it's like Spell
There
Pierce
you
isn't
go.
going to cut it.
I'll pay for it. Daze. All these islands.
They got 3 dazes, but only 1 island to go with them.
Boy.
So
Let's go to the sideboard here. Sideboarding, we're going to get 3 Pyroblasts from Andrew Shrout. And I don't think there's anything else.
yeah, it looks like Pyroblast is the only card I would bring in. Sam does have. It looks like those 2 chills. He has Back to Basics, Flusterstorm, Tormod's Crypt, Relic of Progenitus, Submerge, Pithing Needle, and Tower of the Magistrate. He could bring in Pithing Needle. I would actually definitely bring in Needle. He wants Needle to be able to lock down Grim Lavamancer.
Grim Lavamancer is a real problem.
So Needle and perhaps Chill. Oh, hello! Here we are.
Oh my goodness gracious. I didn't expect that at all. So for those of you who are just joining us, it's the Star City Games Live Open Series here in Seattle. No, St. Louis
Would you
would be
teleport
awesome.
somewhere?
If we were in Seattle, that would be really, really cool.
That would be
St. Louis is just
pretty
fine.
bizarre.
We're going to be giving away 3 months of free premium here today. I'm Adrian Sullivan. This is Brian Kibler. For those of you who want to join in on the possibilities of getting 3 free months of premium content, great content out there on the web, some of the best
Absolutely.
content in Magic that's being produced, what you want to do is you want to answer our trivia question at hashtag SCG Premium. Now, one of the things that I was going to say was, did you want to do this one? I've got one, or you can do
Sure,
one.
I can handle this. So we've been talking all day about how incredibly diverse the Legacy format is, and how we've seen all kinds of different decks throughout the day. There is one deck that we've seen 3 times in the feature match area, and there is 1 copy of the top 8. And if you can name that deck, you can win 3 months of Star City Games Premium.
Now, I'm going to give one small hint
All right,
for those
go for
people. You might think Ely, might not.
Sure.
There we go.
All right. Good luck. So, what do you think it is?
I don't
You
know.
probably
Oh,
You
wait.
probably know. You also have a little list there.
Oh,
that
I've got my
has-
list.
No cheating.
I
No
like
cheating.
to have my lists. Lists are good.
I have lots of lists.
I
Many
have-
of them start
oh.
with 4 Llanowar Elf.
I think my lists are more likely to start with 4. I would have said Goblin Guide a little while ago, but As of late, I think that my lists have been starting with 4-mana leak.
Sure. Yeah, I don't actually have many Llanowar Elf decks these days, but I used to. I used to have many.
So looking at the sideboard, though, you said you were thinking 2 Pithing Needle and what was the other card? 2 Chill. I think
Chill is definitely a card that can have an impact if it comes down in time. Chill is a card that if Sam draws it later in the game, that it's not going to really have much of an effect. But I mean, this is a matchup that can be decided very quickly.
Well, I mean, it does make the Snapcaster's ability to return a burn spell
very true.
Very actually difficult.
The incremental cost on anything. That's one reason that Snapcaster is so much better in a format like Legacy than it's shown to be in a lot of other formats. Is that Legacy has so many powerful cheap spells like Brainstorm, and Chill helps shut down the ability to flashback burn spells with Snapcaster Mage.
So we see Samuel contemplating his sideboard one last time, looking around. Now, we started this weekend with 557 players in the standard portion, and this room was packed to the brim, and we had another room packed to the brim even more. It was basically kind of sardines in a can feel. Today at Legacy, it's down to 277 for the Legacy, and we had the 2 draft challenges, both of which had 64 players. And now here we are, down to the top 8. There's a handful of players left. It's pretty late here. It's 10 p.m. We've been giving you guys Magic for 36 hours now. And I don't know about you, but I could stand to have a little bit more Magic. I know last night we got done. We'd been working at it for about 12 hours. I cracked Moto open right away. I think you did too. It's just kind of how it goes in this place.
What can I do to brew up some things with this deck? I mean, after watching a bunch of great standard matches yesterday, I was thinking, what can I do instead? So definitely after today, I'm looking at these decks. I'm like, what ideas can I pick from all of these for what I want to play?
That's a great thing to remember is borrowing. I can't remember, was it Bono who sang "Every artist is a cannibal, every poet is a thief"? But it's very much the case in Magic as well. I know that I was working on aggressive elves for a while because of Andrew, and that definitely informed the work that I put into the aggressive Dungrove deck before the rotation into the new standard. And that deck was incredibly much like an ATM pack machine for me on Modo, and I have a lot to thank Andrew Shrout for that. Because if it hadn't been for him really actually being in the same queues as me about 6 or 7 times in one night and just crushing me with his aggro elves deck, I wouldn't have learned some valuable lessons. So be prepared to learn lessons from decks of all kinds, even if they run kind of silly cards.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of cool stuff here today, and there's still have a lot of interesting decisions here in the top 8. I mean, Andrew's deck here is one that I certainly haven't seen in a Legacy tournament before. It looks, we saw I was actually joking yesterday, or rather earlier today, that this looks a lot like the deck that we saw playing yesterday.
That's true.
I was like, where's his Druidic Satchels?
I think one of the things I really like about this deck actually is we were talking about Snapcaster Mage and Zoo, and having a slight disagreement, I think, about it, but we both agreed on one thing. If you use Snapcaster Mage in Modern Zoo to return a Tribal Flames and cast it, that was absolutely worth it.
Right.
Well, if Tribal Flames is worth it, Price of Progress is usually going to be worth it.
Yeah, Price of Progress does a lot of damage. And though I'm guessing the Price of Progress is the card in Andrew's deck that came out for those Pyroblasts in this matchup.
Yeah, Price of Progress is middling to weak in this matchup.
It would have done a lot of damage last game.
Yeah, but that was a bad draw.
That was a very bad draw on Sam's part. And even if it had come up, he could have theoretically wastelanded his own lands. So.
Okay, we wait for Samuel to get something done. I played, I think, 4 or 5 games against Andrew earlier today. I was not able to pick up even a single one.
Oof. His deck definitely seems pretty punishing. Players amicably chatting away. Definitely a friendly tone here. Always good to see.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I mean, one of the things, it doesn't take too much effort to be nice to people. So you might think, for example, when you're playing an opponent, if you're being a real jerk, that you're getting some value out of it, but I don't recommend it.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of people talk about, like throwing your opponent off their game, trying to sort of to rattle them. I personally prefer to be nice to everyone.
See, I like to throw people off their game.
But you do it differently.
I like to throw them off nicely.
Absolutely.
We got an Aether Vial from Samuel Samuel.
Kuprewicz?
Kuprewicz.
This is proving to be to Kuprewicz.
Kuprewicz. Goblin Guide.
That one I know.
I see a daze. I see a daze over there, Andrew.
Davize. No, it's days. Days. All right. So.
And a single counter is on the Aether Vial.
So Guide gets in. Guide is not the most impressive card in this matchup. It quickly gets outclassed if any Lords ever hit play. It looks like Sam is... It's actually kind of funny. I was about to say, it looks like Sam doesn't have any blue mana. Then I'm like, wait, no, this isn't standard. He just gets a Volcanic Island. Like, blue-red in standard has problems with mana. Blue-red in this format certainly does not. There are a ton of fetch lands that can get blue mana for Andrew, so he's certainly in no trouble there.
That's funny.
So Volcanic Island comes out with Wooded Foothills. It's not even a forest.
What is your favorite island duel?
My favorite island duel. It's gotta be tropical.
Tropical for me too. Tropical for me.
It's gotta be tropical. I definitely like to play a green creature. I'm a man who enjoys his creatures.
It's funny because mine's I like to cast Gaia's Blessing.
We have different motivations, but similar results.
Ponder.
So it looks like Andrew has... I saw a Chain Lightning and Fire Blast in his hand. Keeps with his Ponder.
Draws an island, it looked like.
So he knows Sam has Daze in his hand, so he doesn't want to walk any important spells into that. Curse Catcher comes down for Sam.
Goblin Guide is a dangerous card against a deck like Merfolk.
Right, that's what I was saying, that it can very quickly get to a position where it's not really going to be able to trade with anything even.
I mean, we can think about how Goblin Guide plays out in Modern Zoo, where it's like you get in 1 or 2 attacks, but if your opponent is also aggressive, then suddenly the Goblin Guide is not doing you the work you needed it to do.
Well, in Modern Zoo, it often doesn't even get an attack at all, because your opponent just plays a Kurdape, and you're like, well, I have this Goblin Guy. This is pretty embarrassing.
Well, I mean, to be fair, though, was it 3 years ago where Martin Juza played 4 Goblin Guides in Zoo?
Yeah.
And there were Wild Nicodles and Curdapes and Loam Lions, oh my.
Yeah, and I beat all those people up.
But you beat all those people up. But you went next level on them.
It's true.
I mean, that's a different thing entirely. Because you weren't playing Kurdape. The card
true.
you named.
Kurdape wasn't any good at Nicodle instead. But anyway, we have a match going on here. Enough about me.
Enough about my Pro Tour top 8.
Excuse me, top 8, I won that.
Oh, yes, good point. Good point. I'm sorry.
So, Island comes down for Andrew.
Goblin Guide marches on in.
And reveals Kira. That's a good one.
Danger, danger.
So, we could see Silvergill Adept just come down here and trade off this Aether Vial. And it's not even really a trade. That's an advantageous exchange.
I forgot you won that one.
I didn't.
I'm sure you didn't. Andrew says that these are the proper lands for this deck.
These particular art?
Yes, and also that particular set of borders. Those are 6th edition, I believe.
That's what I was told on Twitter. I was also told that I believe Portal was the first set that actually had the full symbol, rather than unglued. So.
Oh yeah, that's cool. I wasn't 100% sure.
Unglued had the full art. Portal had the full mana symbol.
I remember being very disconcerted when I saw that at first. I didn't really care for it.
Oh, I loved it. I thought it was so sweet.
Delver.
Any secrets?
3. Oh, he draws Kira.
So Kira comes down, and we know they can come into play right off that vial. So Andrew is a little short on land here now that he's been wastelanded, and Kira coming down is going to make
Any responses?
Very difficult for him to get rid of any of Sam's creatures.
For those of you who don't know, Kira makes the first time any creature is targeted, it counters whatever that targeting thing was.
Yeah. Ooh, and Pithing
Needle. Oh, as you suggested, Pithing Needle does come in to make an appearance here now.
So Andrew seems to have, it looks like Pyroblast, Chain Lightning, Fire Blast in his hand. Pyroblast, unfortunately for him, cannot counter that Kira because it was put directly into play with Aether Vial.
Right.
And now that it's in play, cannot destroy it because it will immediately be countered.
Yes. it would take a second card of its kind to of some kind, I should say, not necessarily its kind.
And this is this is exactly what you were saying. You felt was going to be the key card here.
Yeah.
The needle, unsurprisingly naming Grim Lavamancer.
Yeah. In case you can't tell what that yellow piece of paper is, it is the words Grim Lavamancer covering up entirely Pithing Needle.
The players a little bit of a playful back and forth.
They're having some fun.
So Andrew is brainstorming.
I think I saw Chain Lightning, Lightning Bolt, Fire Blast, Pyroblast, and then cards I couldn't catch up with. Samuel feels good enough about this. He's high-fiving his friends. He's laughing. Andrew looking down, trying to figure out some way to come into this game and feel good about it.
He has not gotten enough damage in to quite burn Sam out yet. He's also pretty light on land. All right, so Delver flips with Chain Lightning.
Brundlefly. And now the question is, do you attack? I don't mind attacking here. I feel like you're in a position where the game is going to end very quickly unless you just end the game yourself. So get it done. Silvergill Adept is revealed.
So that
One thing Andrew Shrout told me earlier today was that when he attacks with Goblin Guide, he never gives his opponent a land. And in the 4 or 5 games we played, he gave me 1 land.
I have never seen it. I mean, to be fair, Legacy decks are typically fairly land light.
This is true.
Unlike in Standard when Goblin Guide was attacking into 26, 27 lands, he's attacking into, here, 21 lands. Often you're attacking into 19, 20 lands. So while those are small percentages, they definitely add up in terms of the amount of lands that Goblin Guide is actually giving away.
I definitely find that concept just kind of amusing. In certain tournaments, maybe someone casts a turn 1 Goblin Guide every single game of the tournament, or in other tournaments, their Goblin Guide simply never helps out the opponent.
Yep, so
Chain Lightning from the hand.
Face. So he knows that Daze is there, and he's making use of his mana while he can.
He's got a Force of Will in his hand.
Mm-hmm. So this is interesting. In Sam's position, last turn he sent both Mutavault and Curse Catcher, and this turn he took a hit from Goblin Guide. With that Kira in play, and knowing that he's able to sort of stabilize at least the creature position, would you have attacked?
I don't know.
His life total is a very important resource here.
Absolutely. He's casting Silvergill Adept. I think it's going to resolve. I don't know what he revealed off of it, though. I mean, I was just thinking about that Chain Lightning. I might have considered losing the Curse Catcher and the Daze to stop it.
I think that might have been totally reasonable.
I mean, he would only have 2 lands in play, but he lays one down immediately. And if he doesn't lay a 4th land, it didn't actually cost him anything in terms of his mana development. I mean, 6 life is not much.
Yeah, I mean, he is playing against a deck that has many. Ooh, he is Force of Will, Silvergill Adept. Okay.
And tossing the Snapcaster, which is actually hard to get through both Daze and Curse Catcher.
I can agree with that.
I mean, the Snapcaster itself might resolve, but I bet the spell won't.
So Sam is... we don't know his hand. How many cards does he have?
He keeps holding them close to his body rather than close to the table, so I'm not sure how many cards he has.
Yeah. Andrew looks to be down to, I want to say 3 cards. After that Force of Will, something like that. So Sam does not seem to have a Lord that, or even if he does have a Lord, nothing that Sam has at this point can actually profitably stop that Goblin Guide. He can, if he has a Lord, he could trade Curse Catcher for it. Or he can trade Kira for it, but that's not a situation he wants to be in. Force of Willing, that Silvergill Adept, put Sam in a position where that Goblin Guide remains a threat.
You'll notice that Andrew, for this game, has maintained being the beatdown.
And Reejerey just comes into play.
Now we have Samuel with Marrow Reejerey.
And Sam has...
He sits back with all of his men.
He knows the Daze. Oh, Chain Lightning.
Chain Lightning. Are you going to go to 3? What you got?
And does Float 2 mana Fire Blast you?
That might be it.
And there's a Daze.
Daze, pay. pay.
Scratcher pay.
Point.
There it is.
There it
Wow.
is.
That was a lot
Oh.
of burn very fast from Andrew Shrout. And as we were saying, that is a deck that boom, boom, boom can just put that damage right in your face.
Now imagine if Samuel had not attacked that one turn.